Good evening. Good evening and welcome to our December Board of Trustees meeting. We are in the Berry Center tonight. The Board of Trustees of Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a regular meeting on Monday, December 12, 2016 in the arena of the Berry Educational Support Center, 8877 Barker Cypress, Texas at 6 p.m. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551-071 to 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I want to take a moment and mention that the board has made a decision to substitute a moment of silence for our previous prayer presented by a member of the administration. We have decided to pray in private prior to the public meeting and then observe a moment of silence in the public meeting. There are a number of reasons for this. I respectfully request that the audience honor our decision and observe the moment of silence with us. Please stand and join me in a moment of silence and in the presentation of the colors and Pledge of Allegiance. Cypress Springs High School JROTC cadets presenting the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance are Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Solomon Scott, Cadet Captain Yasmet Perez, Cadet Captain Ian Burnell, Cadet Captain Joseph Oreskovich, Cadet Second Lieutenant Victoria Galvin, and Cadet Senior Airman Dylan Labate. Sponsors are Lieutenant Colonel Charles Pryor and Chief Master Sergeant Michael Galafaro. Now we'll start with a moment of silence. Thank you for observing the moment of silence. And now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. That could have gone better. Board Member Don Ryan will read the district's vision and mission statement for the benefit of the audience.
Our vision statement: learn, empower, achieve, dream, lead. Our mission statement: maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. We'll move on to the special recognitions portion of the agenda. Recognitions A, the board will recognize students who won awards at the National Federation of Press Women, Texas Association of Journalism Educators, and the Association of Texas Photography Instructors. Stacy McGee is our presenter. Ms. McGee, thank you.
Ms. Mingoya, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry, it is my pleasure to present to you this evening journalism students who have distinguished themselves at the state and national levels. This fall, 9 CFISD journalism students from 3 of our high schools received awards in 3 separate contests. These students, who serve on the staffs of their campus yearbooks and newspapers, submitted their work to be evaluated by industry experts in a variety of categories. They were awarded for articles they wrote, photos they have taken, and layouts they have designed. Journalism students, as I announce your names, please come forward. Our first honoree is Audrey Gray from Cypress-Fairbanks High School for her award in the National Federation of Press Women's 2016 High School Communications Contest. Audrey submitted work from the 2015-16 Cypher newspaper, The Reporter. In the category of single-page layout, she earned first at the state level, and then she advanced to place second at the national level. Her work was entitled, "Life is What You Bake It." She and her family traveled to Kansas in September to represent CFISD at the National Awards Banquet. Audrey has been mentored by 2 dedicated journalism teachers, last year by Lil Harris and this year by Craig Malinsky. I would like to ask Audrey's teachers, family members, and any Cypher High School administrators here tonight to please stand and also be recognized as we congratulate Audrey. Thank you, Audrey. Our next honorees are from Cy Creek High School for awards received by the Texas Association of Journalism Educators. These students were recognized in October at the organization's annual Fall Festa Convention in San Antonio. Cy Creek students, as you come forward, please remain up front until all of the winners from your school have been called. First, we have, in absentia, Caitlin Campbell, who earned 2 Superior Awards in on-site photography, Miranda Duncan, who earned Superior in editorial writing, Lydia Eastep, who earned Superior in editorial illustration, the partnership of Grace Grantham in absentia and Abby Ackard, who earned Superior in yearbook theme package, and in absentia, Libby Sullivan, who earned an Excellence Award for review writing. Additionally, the Cy Creek yearbook, Cougar Pride, recently was recognized with a gold star at the national level by the Columbia Scholastic Press Association. These accomplishments have been achieved under the direction of advisor Samantha Berry. I would like to ask Ms. Berry, the students' family members, and any Cy Creek administrators here tonight to please stand and also be recognized as we congratulate these young journalists. Thank you, girls. Our final journalism honorees are from Jersey Village High School, who were awarded by the Association of Texas Photography Instructors in their statewide fall contest that drew more than 6,500 total entries from across Texas, California, Kansas, and Oklahoma. 2 journalism students from Jersey Village were among the winners. Here with us tonight is Marilyn Paz, who received first place for a beginner photo story for her collection on community service, and in absentia, Andrea Zagel for second place in the student life category. These accomplishments have been achieved under the direction of advisor Margie Comstock. I would like to ask Ms. Comstock, Marilyn's family members, and any Jersey Village administrators here tonight to please stand and also be recognized as we congratulate Marilyn. Thank you, Marilyn. Congratulations to all our outstanding journalism students and their teachers who are working exceptionally hard every day to tell CFISD's stories through pictures and print. We are very proud of you.
Thank you, Ms. McGee. B, the board will recognize students from Cypress Creek, Cypress Ranch, and Cypress Woods High Schools who won first, second, or third place at the National Thespian Festival in June 2016. Our presenter is Timothy Estelle.
Good evening, Mrs. Mingoya, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. It is my pleasure to present to you this evening our outstanding students who have distinguished themselves in the area of theater arts. These dedicated and talented theater students competed at the National Thespian Festival held this past June in Lincoln, Nebraska. Judges comprised of theater arts educators from across the country adjudicated these students' performances and determined their rankings. The Educational Theater Association is a nonprofit organization with approximately 90,000 student and professional members. EDTA's mission is shaping lives through theater education by honoring student achievement in theater and enriching their theater experience overall. This evening, we recognize students from 3 of our district's high schools who received first, second, and third place rankings. Honorees, as I call your name, please come forward and remain until all members of your troupe have been recognized. I would ask that those in attendance please hold your applause until all members of the campus team have been recognized. First, we honor the students from Cypress Creek High School with a third place ranking in the category of group acting for their performance from Fugue, Cody Brockermeyer and Autumn Shelton. These students are under the direction of Amy Small, Michelle Smith, and Ashley Waite. If you are a parent, family member, teacher, or administrator of one of these students, I would invite you to stand and also ask that everyone join me in congratulating Cypress Creek High School. Thank you, students. Next, we honor the students from Cypress Ranch High School with a third place ranking in the category of group musical for their performance of Willpower from the musical Something Rotten. Jackie Casby, Emily Darragon, Grant Dayo, Max Foster, Chance Jarvis, Corey Jennings, Taylor Jerding, Carson Leonard, Ryan Simone. I will also note that Ryan also received a first place ranking in the nation for his original musical Chrysalis. Kendall Streets, Abby Weeks, and Grace Whaley. Next, with a third place ranking in the category of solo musical for his performance of Confrontation from the musical Jekyll and Hyde, Liam McGarity. And finally, with a third place ranking in the category of group acting for their performance from Black Snow, Jaslyn Gonzalez, Emily Hayes, Miranda Lara, Hayden Maples, Lexi Martin, Brendan Morrow, Morgan Simone, and Ross Strickland. These students are under the direction of Cheryl Bradford, Jane Bankston, and Nathan Stanaland. If you are a parent, family member, teacher, or administrator of one of these students, I would invite you to stand and ask that everyone please join me in congratulating Cypress Ranch High School. Thank you, students. Finally, from Cypress Woods High School, with his second place ranking scenic design for the production of The Merchant of Venice, Brett Rose. Brett was also selected by the National Office to serve as the projectionist for the all-convention production of Spark of Creation. And finally, with a third place ranking in the category of duet musical for his performance of First Impressions from the musical First Date, Samuel Hackett. These students are under the direction of Toby Drake, Holly Knott, and Seth Bales. If you are a parent, family member, teacher, or administrator of one of these two students, I would invite you to also stand and please ask that everyone join me in congratulating Cypress Woods High School. Thank you, gentlemen. Please allow me to close by extending my congratulations to all of these nationally recognized students and the campuses they represent. We are incredibly proud of your accomplishments, and thank you for representing the strong fine arts programs we have here in CFISD. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Estelle. We have one short, an additional recognition, and then we'll be taking a short break. The superintendent will make remarks and announcements, including the honors and achievements earned by the staff and students in recent weeks.
Thank you, Madam President. Representatives from the Collaborative for High Performance Schools visited Cypress Park High School to conduct its first annual CHIPS training and present CFISD and campus staff with the CHIPS Designed Recognition Plaque, crediting a well-designed facility that enhances high performance and provides an enjoyable and rewarding education experience. Wolverine and Academy partnered together to bring Wolverine's Project Bootstrap national campaign to CFISD's Educational Village construction site, outfitting more than 600 Gilbane Building Company contractors with free Wolverine work boots and apparel. Cyfair High School alumnus Sean Osborne made Texas bowling history by becoming the first bowler from the Lone Star State to roll 3 consecutive 300 games. Osborne, a 2011 Cyfair graduate, became the 30th player in recorded history to achieve the 900 set during a USBC-sanctioned league game at Copperfield Bowl. The Cypress Ridge High School football team completed its deepest playoff run in program history on December 3rd, falling 34-17 to Cinco Ranch High School in the Division II Region 3 6A final at TDECU Stadium. Congratulations to all of our talented students that have been recognized this evening. Certainly we are proud of all of our high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools for all of your great accomplishments. We recently selected a new principal for Cyfair High School. I will turn it over to Roy Garcia for introductions.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. President Mingoya and Board of Trustees, as you are aware, Mike Smith, principal of Cyfair High School, was selected as the inaugural principal for Bridgeland High School and will begin in that role on January 2nd. Tonight, I'm excited to introduce to you and to the Cypress-Fairbanks community our new principal for Cyfair High School, Mrs. Anna Martin. Anna received her Bachelor of Arts in Education and her Master of Educational Psychology from the University of Houston. She received her second Master's in Education Administration from Sam Houston State University and completed the Lamar University Principal Academy. Anna is in her 25th year in the education profession, all with Cypress-Fairbanks. She began her career at Cyfair High School as a Spanish and French teacher. She also taught at Cypress Falls High School before becoming a counselor at Cypress Springs High School. In addition, Anna has served as an assistant principal and as the director of instruction at Cypress Ridge High School. She is currently the principal at Kayla Middle School, a position she has held since 2012. When Anna is not working, she enjoys spending time with her family, running, watching Lord of the Rings and Star Wars movies, and trying new restaurants. She and her husband James have 2 children, Danielle, a 2014 graduate from Cypress Woods High School, and Ryan, who is a junior at Cy Woods High School, where he is a member of the cross country and track teams. Please join me in congratulating Anna Martin on her new leadership assignment.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President Mongoya, Board of Trustees, Dr. Henry. Thank you so much. I am very honored to continue to serve Cyfair ISD in the capacity of the principal at Cyfair High School. I would like to thank my family who is here tonight, especially my husband, if you would please stand, who has supported me from the time I was a teacher through every single one of my stepping stones that has helped me get where I am. Thank you, James. Also, I have my son, Ryan Martin, here tonight. My mom, who is my rock and my pillar, Mrs. Martha Cruz. My sister, Andrea, husband, Brent, Gabrielle, and Dylan. And I also would like to thank my right hand and guardian angel, Roberta Daringsburg, who's here to help me celebrate tonight, and my director of instruction currently at Kayla Middle, Miss Elizabeth Bradley. Thank you all for helping me and supporting me through my stepping stones, and I'm very excited, cannot wait to get started as the principal of Cyfair High School. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Ms. Martin. We will be taking just a 5-minute break. Thank you very much.
Students, if y'all want to stay, feel free.
Good. All right, we're going to go on to our portion as board comments. Any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this time. I'm going to start with Mr. Jackson on this end.
You pay a superintendent for their judgment and leadership, which often go hand in hand. An exemplary situation occurs when an idea to address a need has been brought to fruition and others are encouraged to adopt the idea on a larger scale. This month, CPAs were joined by others from different walks of life to go to the George R. Brown Convention Center for a JA Inspire event that was inspired by this district at the direction of our superintendent 4 years ago. Mark, thank you for your leadership and your judgment. My merry band and I are in our second decade of serving a dish of formative U.S. history spiced with pageantry and patriotism to students in public schools. A special thank you to those involved within my district at Andre, Cypress Creek, Feast, Lowry, Reed, and Robeson. On Thursday night, we reviewed the reading levels for kindergarten, first, and second grades at our various elementary schools. Improvement from 5 years ago is generally seen across the board, but most particularly at those campuses with opportunities. The improvement is directly attributable to the creation of Camp Summit, which was created under the direction of Dr. Linda Macias. Board comments from 5 years ago regarding enhancement of reading may have given management the umbrella necessary to dream big, knowing that support would be steadfast. And so tonight, I tip my hat to all of those associated with Camp Summit, with a special nod to Dr. Macias, my guide Barbara Lewandowski, Letitia Bard, and also the entire curriculum and instruction team. This past week, I completed my 100th campus visit. The first 16 was as a trustee candidate, the last 16 this past fall semester. On each visit, I always asked the principal the same question upon entering. Teach me whatever you think I need to know about yourself, your campus, your students, or your programs that will make me a better trustee. And of course, some of the more experienced principals have taken me completely at my word. My brain can only contain so much information at one time, principals. A special nod to our superintendent for fully backing this program, and also a nod to my colleague, Bob Covey, but also to one of our predecessor colleagues for dreaming of this program as well. For each visit, I always read the CIP, and I can't comment on all the special things I saw at each of the 16 campuses, but I would share with you the one phrase in the CIP because I saw it replicated at every campus visit from the first to the 100th. It reads, our objective is to do better this year than last, and that sums up what this entire district is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Dr. Ogletree?
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to just thank you and this board for sharing a special moment with me and my life in November, on November the 20th. We do a lot as a board, and we have meetings, we attend educational events and conferences and dinners, and for you and the board to worship with me and Lady O on our special anniversary celebration. For all of you, I can't thank you enough, and for the love you've shown us, and we just will always treasure that day. Bless you all.
Mr. Covey?
Just, is that where, yeah, okay. Just a message out to everybody that works in the Cyfair School District and the community that I wish you a very Merry Christmas and the happiest, safest of New Year's. And whenever we give thanks at our house, we always give thanks for the teachers that have affected us and done such a wonderful job in this district. And I just want to thank you all for everything you do for our students. And I know that there is information out there that's coming from people saying that our public education is not doing a good job, and I beg to differ because I see it happening on a daily basis, and I find it very sad that people take minute pieces of information and publicize it as if it is fact. So I would encourage you, especially during this coming up session, that you really take a look at what is being said and check out the facts for it. But have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a great holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Covey. Ms. Blackshear?
Yes. I'd like to, I know as we come to the end of the year, a lot of people are thinking about goals for the new year, and I would like to encourage parents, grandparents, business partners to consider in the new year being a reader or a mentor at one of our schools. I have been doing this for a number of years when I was at the credit union, and in retirement I continue to do it. But there is such a need for readers and mentors in our schools in Cyfair. I currently read to 2 first-grade classes at Danish Elementary every week. And I will tell you that what I receive from those kids is far more than the hour I give. It's one of my favorite things to do each week. So when you're making your goals for the new year, I hope you will consider being a reader or mentor at one of our schools. As I round out my first year as a trustee on the school board, I want to thank my fellow colleagues for all of their help and support during this past year as a newbie and learning the ropes. You know, particularly Mr. Ryan, he has been most helpful. But no, kidding aside, being a, stand up, dog. He pulled a prank on me last week, and I'll have to figure out a way to get back. But, you know, I've been active with the school district, partnering with the school district for a number of years, and you think you know a lot, but serving on the school board, you learn how much you really don't know and how much you have to learn. And they have done a terrific job of helping me learn and being there to support me, and I thank you all for that. And then finally, I just want to wish a Merry Christmas to all our Cyfair ISD family and students. I hope you have a blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year and a safe holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. I too wanted to say a couple of thank yous for our school visitation program. Most of us just finished up with our visits for this fall or just have a couple of more to go. And Holly Richter does a great job at scheduling all of us. Remember, we visit every single campus. Each of us visits 14 or 15 or 16 campuses, and we visit every single campus each year in the fall or early in the spring. And it takes a lot of time and effort for her to get all of us in there. And we really appreciate her work on doing that, and we certainly appreciate the principals that welcome us and show us around. Truly, it makes me a much better board member when I get to look and visit these campuses, and I know all of my colleagues on the board feel the same way. So thanks, Holly, and thanks to the team. And, you know, this was Bob Covey's idea a few years back, so let's give him credit for that, too. Pretty good every once in a while. We're going to move on to citizen participation. Patrons who have duly registered per policy BED local may address the board regarding matters of concern or interest to the district other than the character of any student, staff, or board member I'd like to remind the audience and the viewers that the comments of the speakers reflect their own positions or opinions. The board may not discuss or act upon any matter that is not listed under the action item portion of the agenda. Therefore, board members may not discuss the comments of speakers. Please understand that a lack of response from a board member does not indicate agreement or approval or disagreement or disapproval of the comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the board. Bob Covey, Secretary of the Board, will be the designated timekeeper. When it is your turn to come up, please come up to the podium right here on my left, my stage left, and you'll begin addressing us and the audience, and Bob will switch on the timer. You'll see a green light when you have time to go. You'll see a yellow light when you have 30 seconds, and then when you get to the red light, we need for you to summarize in just a minute, just a sentence or two. We have 10 speakers tonight. Lydia Villamaza or Villamizer will be our first speaker. If you could come up to this podium. Lydia. And I'm sorry if I got that last name wrong. When you start speaking, we'll keep.
Good evening. My name is Lydia Villamizar, and I represent several of the concerned parents in Canyon Lake West neighborhood whose kids currently attend Postma Elementary. I'm opposed to the proposed changes in zoning for several reasons. First and foremost, the changes could and most likely will have a detrimental effect emotionally and psychologically on many of the children who have previously been struggling with the subject, class, or coping mechanism to deal with changes at home and recently made great gains. A lot of these kids have developed relationships and bonds with teachers and counselors, and they made these improvements, like my third grader who is autistic. Uprooting them to start over at a brand new school could cause them to lose all of the ground that they gained and will definitely have a negative effect on their grades. Secondly, several parents who have been in this district for 5+ years and whose children are either midway or close to advancing to junior high have stated that this is the third shift in a school for their children, which is a scary thing for an impressionable young child who's already have enough to absorb and learn academically and socially. With each new grade, our children are our most precious commodity. We're not here to dissect and compare the designations, academic achievements, or ratings of Postma versus Andre. But for what we pay in school taxes, we deserve and have the right to better notice and to have some options and input of our thoughts prior to such a major change by the district. Lastly, after speaking with some of the teachers at Postma Elementary, they are saddened to not lose only the children they form relationships with, but also the parents. The PTO at Postma is composed primarily by Canyon Lake West parents, and all of the funds that have been raised for the school to benefit the children will be starting from zero by moving to a new school. I thank you for your time and consideration, and do hope that you take heed to our concerns. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mrs. Villamazer. Our second speaker is Serkan Ergülü.
Good evening, Madam President. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with the board and share some of the concerns. I, too, am a resident here in Cypress. I'm a parent homeowner in the Mira Mesa subdivision. I'm speaking to you today because of the concerns about the rezoning that's also happening to our Mira Mesa subdivision, which is zoned to go from Rennell Elementary to Postman Elementary. We all recognize the occasional need to move boundary lines in order to appropriately plan for projected growth in the school district. Be that as it may, I believe that these types of changes should be made in partnership with the community members and residents that are directly impacted by the change. With such a significant change, I think the district could do more to help educate parents about the driving factors that are causing the need to change, give us better insight into the information that's being evaluated, and alternatives that are being considered as you plan to affect these children. The greater level of transparency in this process, I think, could help build greater trust between parents and the board. And I believe that administrators will help ensure that, help make these decisions for the students. While there's a period of time allowed for feedback on the proposal, I believe the process fails to truly engage community members, given there's no real opportunity to have dialogue with the board or a planning committee about the proposal and alternative options considered. Instead, my only means of voicing my input is through a written feedback or this 3-minute opportunity to share my concerns. Given the significance of the change to our local neighborhoods, I would have expected a much greater level of opportunity to ensure parents' voices were heard and that there was an opportunity for dialogue to help us understand the basis for these changes. You may consider holding meetings with parents as part of the planning process to outline to us the state of affairs and help us understand what alternatives the board is considering as you go about these changes. Based on the information I've gathered, one of the driving forces behind the attendance boundary changes for Mira Mesa is expected growth in the Mira Mesa South area of the division, a section formerly known as the Canyon Lake West community that was originally zoned to go to Postman in the first place. It's been said that this now new section of Mira Mesa will replace Rennell in an overcrowding situation. In an effort to keep the entire subdivision in one elementary school, the choice has been made or proposed to move the entire subdivision to Postman. Mira Mesa South is not currently slated to begin construction until December 2017, with new homes not ready until the summer of 2018. Understanding that growth in the Mira Mesa subdivision is anticipated, a less damaging way to handle this could be to enable current residents in existing sections of Mira Mesa to continue with their current elementary school and then redirect homes in the new section to an alternative elementary school. Those future parents and homeowners then are able to make the most effective decision in terms of their choice on where they want to put their kids in school. As a parent, I would much rather be able to have my child continue his elementary education at Rennell over the benefit of having one entire subdivision attend one elementary school. If this is the driving force behind the change, I'd compel you to recognize that parents would rather maintain continuity with our current elementary school rather than create unnecessary disruptions and distractions that come with adjusting to a new school. There are several communities, such as Town Lake, who are already split with a portion of communities in one school, another portion is zoned to another school.
Sir, you need to sum up.
I'd ask you to request a few considerations and verify, is this change absolutely necessary to our Mira Mesa subdivision? Is it absolutely necessary now? And really ask the group if you've already studied this, are you absolutely sure you've looked at all the factors and all the options that you can before you finalize this decision?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our third speaker is Jacob Scott. We are having a little technical difficulty with the timer.
They're going to be alerted at 1 minute instead of 30 seconds.
There's a couple of changes. For one thing, and this is my fault, you're going to get a warning of the yellow light at 1 minute rather than 30 seconds. So you have a little bit longer once that yellow light comes on. And I do need you to summarize right when it turns red. And you can see that right in front of you. Thank you, Jacob. When you start talking, we'll start timing.
Hello. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Jacob Scott, and I'm a freshman at Cypress Ranch High School. Today, I would like to discuss the transfer of Cypress Ranch High School freshmen to Bridgeland High School. Due to the zoning that was done for Bridgeland High School, us freshmen are being forced to switch from Cy Ranch to the new high school, thus pushing us to begin new programs. I understand that we live in a growing community and there are lots of challenges that come with it. I can imagine the difficulty in making this decision in such a big school district. I never choose to be a Mustang. I went to Cy Ranch because I was zoned here. I didn't have a lot of friends going into the school. I was terrified walking into the school because I didn't know how it was going to go. I know I'm not an athlete, and I knew I was not making the football team, but I've always had a passion for theater. I've started to get more involved in the theater program there. I wake up every morning excited to see all my friends and teachers. Early in the year, I auditioned to be in the school's production, and I got in. I am so grateful that I could work with amazing directors and friends, including the students that you have honored here tonight. They have taught me so much. The connections I have made with these people over the course of a few months is outstanding. So many people with diverse backgrounds and personalities. I could not imagine my life without them. They have guided me through the programs, showing me and teaching me how to be successful in practically anything I do. Cy Ranch is such a wonderful school with so much spirit, and I would hate to miss out on that. I never liked going to football games, but once I got comfortable in the school, I found myself getting caught up in the spirit. Watching the talent on the field as well as on stage is an amazing experience. I found my place. I'm already ingrained in Cy Ranch High School and the Mustang family. I would like to finish where I started with the people I have already started with. This is my story, but I know I'm not the only one. In just a few months, I have made lots of friends in different activities and are in similar situations. It's just such an amazing school. I feel so fortunate that I finally found my place here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Our next speaker is Stephen Lindsay. I got out of order, I'm sorry. Aditi Sagal, and then Mr. Lindsay, you're right after that. But you might as well come sit down over here so you're closer to the podium. I just turned my page too fast. I apologize.
Good evening, board members. My name is Aditi, and I'm a resident of Cypress Park north of 290. And we are a part of the rezoning proposal from Keith Elementary to Alt Elementary. I have a petition that's signed by 45 other parents from my community. I'm going to read out that petition. We, the residents of Cypress Park subdivision, would like to bring forward our concern in this matter, which affects our families and the futures of our children. Presently, our children attend Keith Elementary, and the proposal is to change their enrollments to Alt. The first and foremost concern is the children who are used to attending Keith will have to make adjustments to the new school, timings, and new atmosphere. We all think making this adjustment will take considerable time away from the curriculum, and we have serious concern that this would affect their grades. The teaching methodology and style of teaching is different from one school to another, which again might have serious impact on students' overall progress. Every family in my neighborhood, Cypress Park subdivision, has made substantial financial, familial, and emotional investment to buy property and live in this subdivision with assurance of a reputable school such as Keith. We have a strong belief in Keith's methodology and how it is going to shape our children's future. The model it has displayed in the past and present is highly commendable, and we as parents would not be very likely to make change to that end. The students get emotionally attached to their teachers, principal, and other fellow schoolmates, and this aspect cannot be neglected as it goes towards making kids model citizens of the future and helps shape their behavior towards others in the society. We have reason to believe that this decision to change enrollments will not be a step in the right direction, as we believe it would have an adverse impact on our children's behavior by inducing anxiety of going to a new school when they're already well adjusted in Keith, and also of losing their friends and favorite teachers. For all of the reasons above, we strongly suggest the board and urge them to reconsider their decision for boundary change for Cypress Park subdivision, as it will adversely affect our children's future and their progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sagal. Mr. Lindsay, you're next.
Sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't going to come to this meeting tonight because I was pretty much believed that you guys had made up your minds on the boundary redistricting and redrawing. Friday, I picked up my son from school, and he came running out, and he had a poster. And I said, "What is this poster?" And he said, "It's me and Lily playing on the new Matsky playground." I live in Regency Forest, and he attends Matsky Elementary. And it hit me. I thought, man, what a disappointment. He's been pumped up all year about this new playground, the new school. I went to field day and I saw him playing, and the coaches are going, oh, this is the last field day at Matsky, at the old Matsky. We're going to be at the new Matsky. And every day these kids are pumped up for this. And as I'm driving home, I realize I'm a mile away from the school, the old school, and I'm about 1.5 miles from the new school. And every day when I leave my neighborhood to take him to school next year, I have to drive by that street. And it's not exactly by the school, but there's actually one extra light between me and that school. Now I have to drive 4.5 miles to school. When he gets into middle school and high school, I have to drive even farther to get to Arnold and Cy-Fair. One of the decisions when I moved to Regency Forest was the schools that he would be attending. And I moved there based on the fact that I would be able to go there. It was a set plan, and that's where I wanted to be, that close to school. I worked down the 249 corridor, and there's no sense in me going that far away. I know there's a lot of people I've talked to that have the same issues, and I just ask you to relook at it and revisit it. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Our next speaker is Jimmy Atchison III.
Good evening. I said I'm Jimmy Atchison III. I am also at Canyon Lakes West, and obviously we're here on behalf of the switch from Postma to Andre. It's obviously something against, and it's not a personal thing. It's not something that we're considering because we don't think the staff or the faculty is up to par. I think it's the one thing that we fight for most in our children's lives is consistency, and I think that goes for a lot of things. I mean, whether it's lunches every day at the same time, or dinner, or going to bed at the same time, but much less school. And I think it's an investment that all of us fight and that all of us are part of. I'm a watchdog. I'm a part of that program, which I think is an amazing initiative. But anyway, I'm up at the school all the time. I know the faculty, I know the staff, I know the teachers, I know, I see the continuity in between the teachers from one grade to the next, where they can go to the next teacher and say, hey, this student, he has trouble with this, or she has trouble with this, or she excels at this, and this is a great way to motivate her. And I think with the reprogramming, or rezoning, that gets taken away. And that continuity and that consistency that we fight for so much every day in our children's lives, I understand there's a lot that goes into it, but I think we as parents just want that to stay wherever it can, as much as it can. And I know it's not always easy, and I know it's a struggle for you as a board. There's a lot of things and a lot of people to consider, and personal always can't work into the factor into your decisions. But I just wanted to voice, and as he said, we don't know if it's going to make a difference, but I don't think that any parent, or it's a salt, I guess, or a ration, would sit at home and hope that, someone's going to find out for them. They'd rather fight that fight. So, again, it's just something that I think that the sentiment that has been echoed by a lot of my neighbors, a lot of our community. We've had a meeting last week, and it's just something that we asked you to please take into consideration as we move forward. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Carlos Joseph.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Joseph, and I have two kids that attend Postma Elementary, a fourth grader and a second grader. My experience at Postma has been great from the first day of 3 years ago when we were relocating from Virginia to Texas, and I went on a tour of Postma to see where my kids would be going to school. I felt welcomed and excited about them attending there. I just ask that you would consider or reconsider rezoning the kids from Canyon Lakes West from Postma to Andre. Postma has given us an excellent learning environment, staffed with amazing teachers, staff, and administration. There have been great relationships that has been formed. There are also great programs that are at the school, such as the choir, the art club, the Mile Club, there's Field Day, there's Boost-a-thon. There's a Veterans Day program that we just had. There was a choir musical that we just had. The kids will be singing at Town Lake this month. And I would just like you to really think about the impact and the effects that it's going to have. I mean, as a fourth grader going into fifth grade, having to leave and go to a totally different school after 3 years is just a lot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Our next speaker is David M. Wilson.
President Mongoya, Dr. Henry, Board of Trustees, I want to thank you again for allowing an opportunity for the public to comment. I think that's very important to engage the public. I am the director of the Cypress Texas Tea Party, although today I'm speaking for myself. It's obvious that you have some very important decisions ahead of you, and with that in mind, I'd like to offer up a prayer, a public prayer for your meeting. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings. For the successful outcomes of school events and for all staff members, both teaching and support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, and courage and strength. Be with the trustees in their deliberations and help them to be wise in the decisions they make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in their leadership. Give them insight to lead with integrity, that their decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep them from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help them make decisions that are for the good of all, and guard them from blind self-interest. Dear Lord, grant them the humility to always seek your will in all that they do and say. All the glory be to you, loving God, now and always, through Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen. I'd also like to ask you to reconsider your decision to have a moment of silence rather than a prayer before your board meetings. I do know that you have an option to open that up to people of all faiths to make that prayer, and I think that's a good way to engage the community. And so I'd like to again ask you to reconsider that. Additionally, I'd like to speak to the fact that I have asked before that you would place the attachments that you make in the board packet available to the citizens on the website in an effort of openness and transparency. As you can see from the agenda, there's a lot of important items. There is bids and decisions you're making that will financially impact the taxpayers, and we would like to have that information available to us so that we can help evaluate what you're doing, as well as the decisions involving the board procedures which you have. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Our next speaker is Anna Rose-Jolick.
Good evening, Madam President, Board of Trustees. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Anna Rozdzialik, and I'm the mother of two girls who attend Keith Elementary School. Francesca is 8 years old, she's a second grader, and Leah is 5 years old, and she just started kindergarten. It was really tough adjustment for the small one because she was always at home. So having her going to school for the first time, it took her a long time, a lot of tears that she shed, throughout this process. Now with the new proposal about boundary changes for the school and Keith Elementary School, moving us to Old Elementary will be another trauma for my both girls. Francesca would be the only one in her class that will be required to attend different school. She's already a distinguished honor roll student. She is recognized by her teachers, by a principal. She tries her best. She's a really exemplary student. And for her, the daily questions she asks me is like, what did I do wrong? Why do I have to go to different school? I'm trying my best. I'm getting the best grades, and I'm trying to reach my goal in the school, but I'm the only one who will be punished for the heart I'm putting into my education. I'm sorry I went off the script. The letter we received from Mrs. Cheryl Fisher, the principal from Keith Elementary, honestly shattered my world. In April of this year, we purchased a house. That was the most exciting day of our life. Cypress Park is a very welcoming neighborhood, and the criteria we took into consideration purchasing this house was Keith Elementary School zone. We wanted our kids to have the best future possible, the best education that they can get to reach their full academic potential. Now, going to Old, it's a downgrade. Keith Elementary is an exemplary school. Old Elementary is only recognized school. And for me, honestly, it feels not fair for our kids to be placed like this. As a parent, I thought I'm the one who makes the choices, where my kids attend school, what is in their best interest, what future they should have, and what goals they should achieve in life. I know, that's my goal. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker and final speaker is David Hines.
Hello, board members. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I really appreciate your time. Sorry, when I signed up, I didn't realize I was going to be up at a podium and in front of everyone or on television. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm a little bit nervous. I'm on the PTO board at Postma Elementary, and by my count, I'm the 4th out of 10 speaker that's concerned about the move from Postma to Andre. Part of the focus of the board, the PTO board, has been increasing technology in the classrooms at Postma. And part of my concern is that we've put in this effort, we've put in our time. One of the other speakers, Carlos, is also on the board at Postma. That I feel like we have a very strong PTO board and have no clue what the culture is going to be like at Andre, have no clue what the technology is going to be like in the classrooms at Andre, or that any of our efforts the last couple of years mean anything. And really that's our concern. You know, I would hope to hear that there's some sort of plan in place or something that the board can do beyond just saying, you have to move from school A to school B, as opposed to you go to Postma, here's what we're going to do to help you transition and bring Andre up to the level of POSMA, because I think it's clear to everyone here and to everyone on the board and everyone at home that Andre is not the same quality school that POSMA is. It's just not on the same level, I believe, and it makes a lot of parents nervous and concerned to have this change forced upon us. So I thank you very much for your time, and I hope you reconsider your decision.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. That concludes our citizen participation. We're going to move on through our agenda. During the Committee of the Whole meeting on Thursday, December 8th, 2016, the following reports were received. 4A, in accordance with the Texas Education Code and State Board of Education regulations, the President of the Board announced the name of each board member who has completed, exceeded, or who is deficient in the continuing education required under state law. And B, the administration provided a written report on the end-of-the-year academic performance and literacy assessment of elementary students in grades K through 2, of the 2015-16 school year. Those were our reports, and we received them on Thursday. Next item is our action items, the consensus items. A, the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. B, the board will consider approving the minutes of the November 14th, 2016 regular meeting. And then on Thursday, we placed some non-consensus items on the consensus agenda. Those are items 6C, the board will consider approving the attached list of students for off-campus physical education, Category 1 for the 2016-17 school year for the spring semester. D, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. 1, FD local admissions revision, that's a revision. 2, FDC local admissions, homeless students, also a revision. 3, GRA local relations with governmental entities, state and local governmental authorities, a revision. And then 6E, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. 1, CDC local, other revenues, grants from private sources, that's an addition. And 2, EHBD, local special programs, federal Title I, that is a revision. If any board member wishes to remove one or more items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended. Mr. Ryan?
Madam President, I move that we approve the consent items as recommended.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. May I have a second, please? Ms. Blackshear seconds. All those that approve, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving to our non-consensus items. 6A, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and/or authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. 1, art and miscellaneous school supplies. 2, art paper. 3, audio, visual, and theatrical equipment and supplies. 4, family and consumer science equipment and supplies. 5, health science equipment and supplies. 6, HVAC, refrigerants. 7, office supplies. 8, paper for food service. 9, physical education dress wear. 10, printer supplies. 11, processed produce. 12, replacement furniture and equipment. 13, small wares for food service. 14, whole produce. May I have a motion?
Madam President, I move that the board award the bids and contracts and/or authorize the purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Covey. Ms. Blackshear, would you like to make a statement?
It's on now. Okay, I will be abstaining from voting as items 8 and 13. my son works for a company that was awarded a contract, so I will be abstaining from the vote.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. We do have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? All those that approve, please raise your right hand. Let the records reflect that was 6-0 with Ms. Blackshear abstaining. Thank you. Agenda items 6B and F have been removed from the agenda. And we had a board discussion on Thursday, so we will not have further discussion on that. The board reviewed options for establishing attendance boundaries for Wells Elementary and Hoover Elementary that are opening in 2016-17 school year. And we also reviewed some options for establishing transfer rules for Cypress Ranch High School for the 2016-2018 school year. That brings us to our superintendent's briefing. And at this time, I would like Dr. Henry to provide us with that comments and provide information.
Thank you, Madam President, trustees, and citizens. Representatives from Purcell Construction and CFISD conducted a topping out ceremony at the Matskey Elementary School replacement campus on November 18th. The fall graduation for Winfern High School will be held on December 15th at 7 p.m. at the Berry Center. I would like to commend these students, their parents, and the Winfern staff for this great accomplishment, and that's always a really fun graduation to attend. December 19th through January 1st, all campuses and the Instructional Support Center will be closed to the public for the holidays. All support facilities will be closed December 23rd, 26th, and 30th. Classes will resume on Tuesday, January 2nd. Additionally, Monday, January 16th will be a student and staff holiday honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If there is an emergency to report during the holidays, please contact CFPD at 281-897-4337. Cypress-Fairbanks ISD earned a spot in the Texas School Business News Magazine's 10th annual bragging rights issue. The district's summer literacy intervention program, Camp Summit, is the focus of the article. I would add that there were over 200 programs that were submitted, and we were one of only a dozen. Camp Summit is designed for students in kindergarten through second grade who are reading at 6 months or more below grade level. It is a great example of an innovative program the district is implementing to eliminate the achievement gap, and the way I'm reading tonight, I need to attend. With the upcoming holidays, we would like to recommend or remind our residents that Texas law prohibits the discharge of fireworks on CFISD property. CFPD will patrol district premises during the holiday season. Citizens are asked to contact CFPD at 281-897-4337 if they observe any fireworks violations. And then finally, I would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, a Happy New Year. I hope that you are all safe, that you enjoy family and friends, and that you come back to us safely on January 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. That concludes our meeting for this evening, and we will see you in January for our Committee of the Whole and our board meeting. And I would echo Dr. Henry's comments. I hope everyone has the happiest of holidays and stay safe, and we'll see you back in school in January. Thank you.
I know, I was going to say, come back next month when Mark Henry reads Cat in the Hat.